Welcome to My Business Matters, the Michigan Chamber podcast.
Hello, everyone. I'm Amanda Toy, Vice President of the Michigan Chamber of Commerce, both membership and partnerships, and I'm so happy to be your host today for My Business Matters podcast. Today, we'll be discussing the business case for going green. We have two very special guests today. First, my colleague, Micah Limo, Director of Environment and Energy Affairs at the Michigan Chamber of Commerce, and Tom Permatteo. And Tom is the CEO of the Green Business Bureau. Great to have you both here today.
Great to be here, Amanda. Nice to be with you, Mike.
Yeah, great to be here, Amanda. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Well, let's get started. Hey, Mike, sustainability can feel like a giant question mark for many Michigan businesses. You are neck deep every day at the Capitol, paying very close attention on these key trends legislatively and in the business world here in Michigan. What do our Michigan business leaders need to have on their radar?
Yeah, thanks so much again, Amanda, to invite me in on this important topic. You are right. You know, I'm knee deep on sustainability issues facing the state day in and day out. And sustainability, going green, and the successful development of an ESG plan are all incredibly important components of the Michigan economic space. And I often get the question of why. Why does the Michigan Chamber care about this? Why should I, as a business, care about this? And, you know, I can tell you it's kind of fundamentally rooted in what the Chamber does. We're a statewide organization that is member-driven, and it's our job to provide our members with resources and access to information that affects them. And so, you know, sometimes that means weighing into specific legislation at the state level. Sometimes it means making sure our members are aware of national, in this case, global trends that, you know, can directly affect them and their bottom line. And sustainability and ESG is certainly important to that. You know, we are seeing at the global level a monumental push towards being more sustainably conscious and doing so in a way that, you know, is responsible to your environment and community. And so, you know, we're seeing that the national regulations at the federal level, but then also the financial market and financial community is swiftly, you know, moving towards this direction. And so if you're a manufacturer or if you're a, you know, small or medium-sized business owner in Michigan, this is something you need to be aware of and prepare yourself, because it's an opportunity if you do so successfully, but it can also, you know, hurt you if you don't, you know, kind of get in front of this trend and prepare accordingly.
Yeah, Mike, I think you have a good point there. It's about responsibility, sustainability, but it's also can have a positive or a negative economic advantage here, depending on how you go at it and how you're educated on the topic. So, Tom, that's perfect. I have a perfect question for you on that. As the leader of the Green Business Bureau, doing this work, not just in Michigan, but across the country, what observations do you have to share specifically with us here in the Great Lakes State?
Sure. Again, it's a pleasure to be here. I on top of some of the points that Mike made, I think that the real bottom line thing here is that there's two things that are really happening. First, the demographics are making it the demographics are driving some of the change that's taking place in businesses, partly because demographically, the people who have grown up thinking that sustainability is really important are now becoming the employees that people are trying to hire. They're becoming the customers that companies are trying to attract. So there's a push from the bottom up that people want to work for companies that are doing things that are good, you know, sustainably good or socially good, or they want to work for companies that do that. But I think there's also, you know, the other side of the equation, which is a lot of companies, because of, yes, they're talking about ESG, and ESG is now becoming something that's not just for private companies. Public companies. We have a lot of private companies that when they come to us, they're talking about, we want to talk about ESG. We want to talk about the good things that we're doing. But more to the point, they're actually finding out that green business is good business, because it does help you attract more customers. It does help you attract and retain employees. But most importantly, it actually makes you a more efficient and profitable company. Because because every time you do something that's an initiative that makes you more sustainable, you are actually becoming a more profitable company. And I think people are beginning to kind of connect the dots that, hey, my customers want it, my employees want it, my investors want it, my partners want it, but it also makes us more profitable. And I think that's the most exciting thing about this, is people are starting to equate it to profit.
Right, Tom. So what I'm hearing from you is not only is it about the human capital and the next generation having a strong focus on what their employer is doing to be sustainable globally and having their footprint here in their own backyard, but also as far as bottom line and how going green in the right ways and in mindful ways can be very efficient for profitability as well.
Exactly. And there are plenty of studies that will show you that companies that have taken this journey are more profitable. They generally do better in the stock market if they're public companies. There's just tons of information which say if we engage in these things and engage our employees in these things, we are more efficient and more profitable. And you are correct, Amanda. Profitability is what businesses are there for. They're there to be more profitable. And the fact that that's becoming recognized is really exciting.
Great. And Tom, I mean, that's why the Michigan Chamber exists, to help Michigan businesses succeed. So I'm grateful that we're having this conversation today. Across the country, let's go a little bit larger scale. Are you seeing trends where vendors, customers, suppliers to businesses are asking, hey, what are you doing to be more green or sustainable? Are we to that point yet, or is that a little bit more anecdotal?
No, I would say it's 100% there. It's beyond anecdotal, because you can look at some very, very large companies that started in this trend, companies like Walmart, that will, when they're looking down their supply chain, they're demanding that the companies that they do business with not only just say that here's the green product or here's why this product is sustainable, they're being asked to prove their bona fides in terms of what they're doing from a sustainability perspective, both in their products and in their company's operations. And it's not just that. And you can also look at a lot of the major financial institutions as they look to invest in companies. They're looking for companies that are doing great things around ESG. You can also look at the S&P 500. In 2013, less than 20% of the S&P 500 did any kind of ESG, environmental and social governance reporting. You fast forward now to 2023, it's over 95%. 95% of those companies that are doing that. So this is not some fad. These companies are committed to it. And of that 95%, over 65% are having someone independently verify the information they're providing to their investors.
Yeah, absolutely. To basically have a third party saying, hey, this is what's happening and this is how we're growing in this area. And thanks for those exact examples, too. Really from small business to large business, everybody's affected in one way, shape, or form in this conversation. We vet, Tom, and Mike can agree with me on this, so many potential partnerships that will provide value to our members. We always ask at least these two questions. What problem will it solve for Michigan businesses? And how will these businesses grow from this? And we are so thrilled to be partnering with your company, the Green Business Bureau, with this, I got to say, really cool, fun. I'm not trying to downplay it. I mean, it's extremely state-of-the-art online assessment tool, but it almost felt gamified. And I think this is an assessment tool that I really enjoy using because it is so practical, the way that I can look at where our organization is at in our green journey, if you will, and then really dividing up what are some small, practical, low-cost things that we can do to be more sustainable in our efforts, and then what are some of these big projects we might want to plan for and budget for down the road. Can you just chime in real briefly on the Green Business Bureau assessment and maybe just a few key ways that, because again, this can be very overwhelming for businesses. We hear this day in and day out. Where should they begin? Where should a job provider and a Michigan business begin when it comes to sustainability?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. And by the way, we're thrilled to be partners with the Michigan Chamber as well. And we appreciated the how tough you were on us to kind of get to the point where as you assessed us, you're asking about assessing sustainability. So we're really excited about the partnership. And I think that when we talk about the Green Business Bureau, we look at it through a business person's lens. And so everything we've designed, and you talk about the gamification, is designed so that businesses can use a tool based on what kind of business they are and allow them to have the flexibility to do something that doesn't interfere with the everyday running of their business. They're in business for a reason. So I think that the way that we've set up the platform and the way to start is actually by doing the assessment. And we've set it up that there are three main pieces of what you do when you become a member of the Green Business Bureau. There's an assessment tool. So the first thing that any business wants to do, because I think it's overwhelming, well, we want to do this. Why? How do I start? The first thing you should do is kind of get a current state of where you are. And we have this very simple, called the Echo Assessment, a very simple tool that allows you to answer 60 or so just straightforward business questions. And from that, we're going to give you kind of, here's your current state, here's where you kind of reside in your journey. And from there, we will then feed you into the framework access of it. But again, even the framework is set up in a way that you could do one thing a month, you could do 10 things a month, depending on how your business is structured. So the first thing is you need to be able to measure where you are, because you can't manage what you can't measure. But once you want to start to manage, there is a tool set to allow you to do that that's very flexible and allows you to do things on your own time.
It's good. It really helps you understand who you are, where you are, and what potential you have, but at your own pace. And I appreciate that.
Correct.
Mike, legislatively, I'd like to go back to that just for a minute or two. What are you seeing high level when it comes to sustainability policy within the state of Michigan, being our director of environment and energy at the Michigan Chamber?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it really is fundamentally at the center of focus for this administration and this legislature going into this new cycle. As a lot of folks in Michigan know, we had Democrats take control of the both House and Senate, and so now they have the trifecta of power in the state. They have long spoken to the need for businesses to be more sustainable, and we have members that want particularly access to clean, affordable energy, sustainability resources, both technical and financial, to become more sustainable. And so, we're working to, communicate those needs to these decision makers here in Lansing. We're not going to agree all the time, and certainly there's going to be plenty of work on our part to make sure to educate, lawmakers on what, is workable for the needs of the business community, to make sure that, Michigan is a prosperous place to live and own a business. But I think, what we're trying to do is really be proactive in our thinking about how can we align with these goals to do something that is good for our state, makes our state more competitive. And Tom really spoke to a lot of that in terms of, how the Green Business Bureau helps businesses look through that lens. And, I know, and I think we all know how intimidating this can be to maybe a business that simply doesn't know where to start. So you nailed it, Amanda. That website, I was very impressed with how approachable the Green Business Bureau website was to, really for any business of any shape and size, find a solid footing to start this process, figure out where you are, and then figure out where, you want to go. And I think what the really good news is a lot of businesses are going to find out that they've already started to make some progress, whether they know it or not, in this space, or that there's some very low-hanging fruit that they can look at to make substantial progress in the development of a successful ESG plan. So I would really encourage businesses to check that resource out. We're excited about the partnership with GBB and, look forward to working with them going forward in the future.
Absolutely, Mike. And Tom, I could sense your nonverbals there regarding a lot of businesses. Again, it's like this like big hairy monster when you hear like, what are you doing to be sustainable? Some businesses are further along than others, and hopefully they're sharing some of their tools and expertise with other community business leaders as well, right? Because we're only as strong as we are together. But that said, can you give me just an example or two? Sometimes we just need to put a couple drops in our bucket to get going. What are a few things that some job providers might already be doing to be sustainable, and they might have not even labeled it that so far?
There are many things, and it is interesting that we have a lot of people come to us because they think they've done a lot of good things, but they're looking for someone to validate, or they're just beginning their journey. But oftentimes it's little things like just beginning to do recycling, just beginning to do, I hate to use the light bulbs examples, but people, when they change how they're looking at energy in their business, there are very simple things you can do to kind of start on your journey to make some pretty big impact. And one of the things about the tool is there are going to be easy to follow examples of that. And to Mike's other point, we have businesses that are one or two employees, all the way up to companies like Martin Ray International in Michigan, which is a major auto parts manufacturer that has thousands of employees across the globe. With them, they did a zero waste program that saved them a ton of money in their operations. But you'd be amazed at how one or two small things can put you on a path, and the tool will actually help you. As you say, it's gamified. It will help you walk through and lead you to where you want to go in your business, and do it in a way that's flexible, but also do it in a way that is very affordable because it's priced for small to medium-sized businesses to get going.
Yeah. When you're talking, guys, it kind of reminds me of New Year's resolutions, like I'm going to get up and run a mile every day. And sometimes it's hard, but if you can literally just put your feet on the floor and put your running shoes on, you're halfway there. And it really is what this is reminding me of with the GBB assessment. One other thing I wanted to quickly touch on is the certification. We love that even if you've just started in your green journey, you can actually get certified. And that's something you can show your employees. Hey, we care about this. Our team cares about being sustainable and taking good care of our community. And you can show your customers that too, right? So it sounds a bit selfish, but when we're looking at bottom line and how this affects us in profitability, we're able to actually put a stamp on it saying, this is something that we care about as a business and we want you to know it.
Absolutely. Because we also, and it's set up that way because we know from our experience that sustainability is a journey. And and people, as I said, they'll come into it in different places. And some people will be coming in at the very beginning. They've only done a few things and they don't know what to do and they're looking for a framework. Other people have done more. But we want people to take credit for the achievements that they have and to be able to show that they're on a journey to get better. And as I said before, every time they do something, it actually has a bottom line impact on their business.
Absolutely.
But they can share that with their employees. They can share their achievements with investors. They can share it with partners. They can share it with customers. And we do think it's really important for them to be able to share where they are and do it in a very transparent way.
Yeah, transparency is key these days. We can all agree on that. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me today. If anyone listening wants to learn more or, how to take the first step or to go in further, definitely go to michamber.com/GBB for a Green Business Bureau. I want to thank you, Tom and Mike, so much for sharing your thought expertise and your leadership on this topic. And thank you all for tuning in on the sustainability conversation and this practical tool that we hope you take advantage of on your own green journey. Until next time, be well.